I'm going to say this, and I'm going to talk about it further in another episode. But what's going on with Jackie and this whole energetic dynamic that keeps occurring every few months, and this has been going on now for at minimum 2 to 3 years, is not normal. Okay? That's spiritual warfare. That is spiritual warfare. And you need to recognize it and you need to see it, because your situation might not be as bad as hers, but you need to recognize when you have patterns like this in your own life. And I know people are going to jump in like, oh my gosh, no, you're saying the spiritual warfare, but she needs to see how to take accountability and stuff like this and da-da-da. And she brought this upon herself. That's spiritual warfare. And I'm going to tell you why I could say it's spiritual warfare. Because this is more than accountability. This is more than accountability that's happening with social media. They want to punish her. You can see the energy. There is a genuine desire to see that girl be punished. It's more than just, this is beyond a humbling. This is beyond an accountability. This is beyond a critique. This is beyond this. There is a venomous reaction that's happening. And there is a dissatisfaction, an angry dissatisfaction that social media has, because they want to see that girl be punished badly. And I don't know what she has done. I'm not talking about mistakes. I'm not talking about that. Okay. And I will never sit up here and act like I'm a Jackie stan, because I'm not. Okay. I'm not one of those people that has followed Jackie from day one. I've watched you since I was 13 years old. You know, you taught me how to do my makeup. That's not my relationship with Jackie at all. I started getting into Jackie Aina with her home content. When you guys were critiquing that girl about ironing her sheets, that's when I was like, this is lovely. Okay. That's when I showed up. Okay. That's when I showed up. When I saw her making her coffee, like restocking her coffee and the bouquets. Listen, you in my territory. I love that. Show me more. I love that. Okay. Inspire me. Okay. The vibes. The beauty element of Jackie, I just simply never followed. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that she didn't come across my algorithm and page and passing. Yes, she did. But Jackie Aina was just not my person in that kind of way. However, what I did pay attention to was the fact that there was always some mess. There was always something, you know, and that will naturally, whether it's her fault or not, that will naturally pull me away from somebody and wanting to engage with their content if I always feel like there's always some kind of drama associated with them. You know what I mean? And also, I understand for a lot of Black creators, this whole, you know, she was advocating for Black women and things of that nature. I understand for a lot of people that drew them to Jackie. For me personally, that's actually what pushed me away. Personally, okay? And I understand that, you know, by me saying this could make me put a target on my back, okay? Well, thank you, Jesus, for your blood that, you know, washes over me. But that's the honest truth. That's my truth, okay? I don't follow activist type of people in spaces that I came to see you for. Meaning if I'm there, what I'm interested in is hair, I'm not into activism over here. If what I'm into is home decor, I'm not into activism over here. You understand? If what I'm into is beauty, I'm not into activism over here. So she would never have my attention in that kind of way naturally, because every time she did come up, right, for me on my algorithm, because I wasn't naturally following her, so I wasn't keeping up with her in that kind of way. So when she would rise up in my algorithm, it was like Jackie Aina is calling out this person because of this. And Jackie Aina is, you know, this is going on in the beauty industry and this. And I do believe the role that she played was very important. But I also feel like that was, again, I'll talk about it in another episode, but I definitely feel like when I really look at the landscape of things, I feel like her being an eldest daughter, I feel like originally she was advocating for herself. You know what I mean? Like just sharing the experiences of what she was experiencing. And then it became like, you're our superhero. And if you have ever been raised in that eldest daughter dynamic, or if you've ever been raised in that leadership or parentified very young, when people look to you like you're the person that needs to save the day, in the beginning, when you're still dealing with insecurities, when you're still trying to find yourself, you know, when you're still trying to learn boundaries and things like that, you know, you pick it up. You pick up that baton and you keep picking it up. You keep picking it up until you get exhausted. So I do feel like along the way, as she was developing and learning herself, she got exhausted of constantly being a person that picked up that baton. But I had already foreseen very early on, like people try to say, oh, I already knew I didn't like her because I saw this. No. I would never sit here and say that was already my preconceived notion. I already knew that girl's doing exhausting business. That's why I'm not into activism work, because that is very exhausting in nature. You know, I'm like, man, you doing beauty and then you out here trying to fight every girl. You're gonna be fighting all day. That's my mentality, right? So I don't want to engage in that, right? I don't want to engage in that. And I never expected somebody that if they're doing makeup, etc., that they need to wear some cape. Certain things happen at certain times, you know, and they feel led to do it. Great. But when that becomes where people identify you for, that you're the mouthpiece, oh my gosh, that's a dangerous place. And I feel like she's learning the impact of playing that role now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's a lot of unwinding that happened. Again, I'll dive deeper into it maybe in another episode. But right now, what I will say is, going back to what I was saying, even with all that, she's under spiritual warfare. That's spiritual warfare, because what people want is to see her be punished. What people want is to see her suffer. This is why you got to go into fast. You got to go into fast to not only break whatever power that is, spiritual power that is, whatever stronghold, but you got to fast for yourself. You have to fast for yourself because of the impact of dealing with this, how it has changed you, and has changed you in a way that has moved you out of alignment with what God has for you, and to distort you into unintentionally sabotaging yourself and moving against yourself. The aftermath of a hardened heart is going to be sabotage. Naturally. So my biggest prayer for her is that her heart is softened. But of course, you're not going to feel safe to soften your heart, because look what you're dealing with. But that right there, that's not natural. That is not natural. That is spiritual. And I need you to see the thread of this. I need you to see the energy. I need you to see the power of it, because you may have it, but you may have it in a different form in your life. It may not be as intense, but the spirit is familiar. The spirit that wants to destroy you, the spirit that wants to devour you, the spirit that don't want you to rest, the spirit that wants to constantly disturb your peace, right? The spirit that constantly carrying chaos. And when you keep having this kind of impact over and over again, you guys need to learn this. When you're having this kind of impact over and over again, you know, whether it be in business, whether it be in career, whether it be in your relationships, whether it be in your finances, you know, you get, 10 steps forward, 20 steps back, 10 steps forward, 20 steps back. You need to recognize the spirit in your life, okay? And you need to fast against the strongholds, right? And the environment and the culture and the community that's being created around it, try to carry it into your life, but also fast, right, for yourself, so that you can break yourself free, right, from any different mindsets and any shifts that have happened to you by engaging with it, that have impacted you to the point where now you may be sabotaging yourself and moving against yourself unintentionally. Fast, guys, fast. Don't just go out here and allow these things to just keep happening, these patterns, and allowing them to just change you, right? Change your mind, change the way you move and things like that. And you're not doing the work. No. Fast, okay? So, again, I have tons of fasting guides. I recommend, most important, the 3-day freedom fast guide, because that's the one that I intentionally create to help break spiritual strongholds, okay? Demonic covenants, all these different things that come attack you. But that right there, that's not natural. So I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great one. Bye.